Hey guys, good morning. Right now it's Saturday morning for me, and I just wanted to shoot this video for you to kind of discuss the day in the life of a bookkeeper. Okay, so this is going to be specifically for people who either are full-time in their accounting slash bookkeeping practice, or maybe they're actually only doing it part-time because they're working a full-time job, and then they have like their either weekends or they have their evenings to kind of do some work. So I'm going to kind of talk about how to schedule your day to make sure that you can be very successful in this business model. I'm Bryce Tubbs. I started my accounting and bookkeeping firm about 7 years ago. And in these videos, I share a lot of the lessons I wish that I had when I first got started. These would have, based on my student results, like it cuts down the time so much. It took me about 14 months before I really hit my stride and started being in that six-figure per month kind of run rate. So what I mean by that is, 10 grand, 12 grand, 15 grand per month. It took me about 14 months to get there. And it shouldn't have taken me that long. It's just I didn't know what I didn't know, and I had to pay a lot of money to figure this stuff out over time. But I'm glad I did because now I not only run my business, but I have the paid mentorship program that I teach people as well. Now, if you want to cut out a lot of those like trial and error kind of mistakes that most people make and what caused most people to struggle, go ahead and click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me to see if I can help you out. Okay, so we like to do about three things on this call. Number one, it's a free call. But the reason why it's free is because I need to make sure I can actually help you. Sometimes there are people and either our values don't really align or the way that I go about showing you how to get clients doesn't really align. So we have to make sure that everything is in alignment, because if it's not, then no matter whether you work for me or you don't, it's just not going to work out. So I got to make sure that I vet the program, I protect my time, and I make sure you're actually going to be a person that is a good fit for this kind of program. So if you want to go and book that, you want to go and avoid a lot of the mistakes that I made, go ahead and click on that link, schedule a call with me. I'll see you there. Now, kind of going and even diving deeper. Okay, so how to actually schedule and just really what does the day in the life of a bookkeeper look like? So the one thing that I've done a really bad job of over the past probably 2 years that I've been really marketing the program and just like sharing the student results is I never really talk about the lifestyle. And when I say like the lifestyle, everything that I focus on has been like about like the finances, because when I was getting started, like I was kind of in a more of like a make or break situation where it was like I had left a really good job and I was trying to make it work, but I just didn't really have the skills of sales and pricing to do so. So whenever I talk to people, I always talk about, okay, you can make so much money. It's so much easier for you to make money because a lot of the people that, I was thinking about when I make these videos, it's designed for people who are making good money, but they need to go and get to a certain point. But really, like the lifestyle of this business is something that is just extremely underrated, that no one really knows about, really understands. Now, the challenge is really about learning how to protect your time and being what I call systemized for scale. So I have a number of people that come into the higher level mastermind program. It's slightly different than the regular program that people who are just trying to get traction go into. And the main reason why they join this is because they have the money. Like, for example, sometimes they'll be making, 25 grand a month, sometimes like 30 grand a month, but they set up the business incorrectly. So they don't really have much time for any more marketing. They were good at sales, but they could be improving, but they don't know how to outsource the work, or they're, kind of workaholics. So they try to do everything themselves. They end up getting like really burned out. So we work together to make sure they know how to hire a team, how to do marketing based on selling a team rather than selling themselves, and also how to sell it so that the people who they're working with are comfortable that they have a team. And that's really what we want to do if someone's in that position. But you starting out, we can get you started in the right direction so you don't have to be that person at 300,000 a year who's doing all the work themselves. Instead, we can have a very smooth transition. For example, like JT, he does between 12 to 15,000 a month. It's been probably about 3 months since I last spoke to him, but he was doing between 12 to $15,000 in sales per month, and he was a one-man show. Now, he was still able to go on vacation. He doesn't have any kind of like expenses. Like, he's not paying for advertising. It's a very, very, very lean high profit margin business. And the way that we are able to help them get clients, we really overprice our services. So the amount of time that it takes for him to work on a client is very, very minimal. Same thing with someone like an Audrey. So in Audrey's case, she's doing about $11.6 thousand per month right now in top line revenue. But she only works about 15 days per month. Okay. Now that the lifestyle there is like, when she's not working, she can go do whatever she wants. She can go relax. She can go have fun. She travels. She goes and sees family. I don't know if she does any flying because, like right now, things are a little bit more challenging to kind of fly internationally. So I know she was doing a lot of driving. Now, how to set up our day? Okay, so no matter if you're working a full-time job or if you're working the business full-time, I'm going to just say like, what is the order of operations, and then you can kind of fill in the gaps into what time of day do you want to do this. So, for example, the first thing you need to be doing is you need to be doing activities that book and generate consultations. That means a consultation is when you're speaking to someone who needs accounting or bookkeeping help, and they're trying to vet whether or not your service is the service that's going to help them out. Okay, that's what a consultation is. So you need to be generating these on a very consistent basis. Now, when we're first starting out, a lot of people try and post on Instagram, they post on LinkedIn, they post on Facebook. And posting is good. Like this is a post, but posting is more of a long-term strategy that you employ, right? And over time, people warm up to you and they become very familiar with you. But if you're trying to go and kickstart very quickly, outreach is generally the way that you need to be doing. When I say outreach, it needs to be building relationships with business owners that own, 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses. So that's number one. Now, that can be done at 6 a.m. in the morning. That can be done at noon. That can be done at 6 p.m. It just needs to be the first thing that you're doing inside of your workday, because that's going to be the thing that allows you to keep making money and keep going to your goal. A common mistake I see most people doing is they do all of their client work first. And I'm not saying that, that we don't want to do client work. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the highest level activity is the one that gets you closest to the new money. Okay. So number two, the next thing we need to be doing is outside of outreach is actually booking calls. So responding to past messages. So the outreach period is just you outbounding, you just going out, you just starting the conversation, or having the automated tool that I give you go out and start the conversations. Part number two is actually booking calls. So having the conversation, moving the conversation forward, getting more information about their needs, asking them more questions that kind of move them forward towards telling you their pains and their problems and their concerns. Now, when it comes to booking calls, I like these to be done in like between 5 to 10 minute kind of intervals where you just open up your LinkedIn or you open up your Instagram, you see all the messages you have. If you don't have any messages, then you just move on to the next order principle or the next order step. Okay. Next thing is going to be about doing calls. Now, again, the time of day that you do the calls is not really that important as long as you do it. A lot of people have this misconception that if they're working a full-time job, then they're not going to be able to do consultation calls because business owners won't want to talk to them like at 6 through 8 p.m. Actually, on the other hand, you got to be really thinking that a lot of these business owners are running around with a chicken with their head cut off during the day, trying to grow revenue, similar to what you're doing. And at nighttime, they do more of their administrative work tasks or more of their HR kind of formats and services. Activities. So that's the perfect time for you to book a consultation with them. A number of my students who are working a full-time job, like they don't have a break during the day. So they just book calls in the evening and the business owner's like, oh yeah, thank you for taking the time out of your day. Thank you for accommodating my schedule. I know that I was on the job site all day, so I can't meet during the day, but I'm really grateful that you have, a consultation time in the evening. And you just use that to your strengths. If you're a bookkeeper or an accountant, like use that to your strength that you don't have calls during the day. Just do it in the evening. You're going to still be able to get clients. Okay. Next thing is going to be about doing the actual client work or outsourcing the client work and just doing the overview function. So this is the place where most people, can either save time or they can maximize their dollar per client. So when you're first getting started and you're just trying to grow, if you have time on the weekends or after work, then yes, you can do the work yourself. Like some people only want to be a one-man army and they want to just kind of grow to 10K per month. The kind of spot that we're seeing that most people start either outsourcing some of the work or start bringing on like a contractor is about $12,000 to about $15,000 per month, because that's generally where it gets a little bit just you're making so much money, it just makes sense for you to give a little bit of that money back into the business for you to be able to grow a little bit faster. But for some people, like, $12,000 a month is good, and they can just kind of hang out there and they just kind of coast, and that's where they really want to go until it's time for them to grow again. Now, if you're going the outsourcing path, okay, I personally love doing the outsourcing path and subcontracting work. So a lot of people have trouble when it comes to outsourcing work because they're afraid of giving up control, and they're afraid that, people can't do it as well as them. So that's why, like, inside of my program, we actually have students who either refer work to each other or they actually subcontract for you. So for example, like, Audrey just picked up this client for like 20. She picked up one for 2,800, then she picked up like another for 2,800 within like 5 days of each other. And then one of our other students is subcontracting out some of that work. So Audrey, charged at about, I think she charged at $60 an hour. And the other student is going to be billing at $25 an hour. So what did I say? 60 minus 25, okay? That is the spread. That's the spread that Audrey's making on top of that. And it's basically becoming more of like passive income. So now what this is going to allow Audrey to do is over time, she can outsource more and more, subcontract more and more of that work to the other student. So the other students out of the program not only gets more money, but then Audrey gets more money too. And it's like we have all these beneficial relationships inside of that mastermind community, which is an element I don't really talk about, but it's whenever you join a program like mine, you're not only like in this alone. It's no longer like a lone wolf. It's not just about me and you working together. It's you have this army of people who are like, hey, how can I help you out? Hey, I don't do this service, but can I refer this person to you? Hey, this person came to me for taxes, but I don't want to do bookkeeping. Like who needs some bookkeeping clients? Or they only do like virtual CFO and they only do like really, really high level, or even what is that called? Forensic accounting. And then someone comes for like basic bookkeeping or a different service. I'm like, hey, I don't want to do this basic service. Here's someone inside the community that can actually do it a lot better than me. And if you're friends, like, dude, it's so easy. Like we were on a call the other day and Melissa was like, man, I just got hit with like, she got hit with like 15 people needing help. And then 2 of those people are like really, really large type deals. And she's like, dude, I'm getting overwhelmed. And I'm like, okay, let's pause. Let's take a deep breath. And I said, okay, so the other people that were on the call, there was like 3 other people. So there was one lady that starts with J, one lady that starts with a V, and then one gentleman that starts with an M. I said, hey, so I know that J and V are looking for some work and they're newer into the program. Is that right, J and V? And they're like, yeah, I'm looking for some work. So I'm like, hey, M, you have 2 people that are willing to subcontract. They're really good. They have a lot of experience. Do you want to outsource some work? She said, oh yeah, cool, I can do that. And I was like, yeah. And then they had the conversation. I put them in like a breakout room on the Zoom call so they could just like kind of set it up right there and interview right there. And now they're working together. It's so easy. But just to kind of recap is, hey, first things first is business activities that grow your business. That is the outreach. Next thing is booking calls, okay? That means following up with past conversations. Next thing after that is actually doing consultations, and this can be held throughout your day. It's very, very sporadic. Next thing is actually doing the client work. Now, over time, as you start reaching your goals and as the leads start coming in more passively, of course, you don't have to do as many outreach activities. You don't have to book as many calls. You can go and actually do like 1 call a week or 1 or 2 calls, a week, and then get 1 to 2 new clients every single week. And then all you have to focus on is just doing the work or outsourcing the work and kind of relaxing. So it's a very, very great business model if you do it correctly and if you know how to set up proper expectations with your client. And hopefully that just answers the question of like the day in the life of being a bookkeeper. Now, if you want some help going and growing your business, okay, you want to skip all the mistakes, all the trial and error that most people go through, where 99% of businesses don't make it after 5 years. It's because they were in that wilderness. It's almost like if you ever read this book called the Bible, the Israelites were wandering around trying to find the promised land for about 40 years. And a lot of them didn't make it, right? Only some of them made it. But the same thing with business. If you're walking through the wilderness is a dangerous place. Get out of the wilderness. Go take the helicopter above the wilderness by partnering with someone who's been where you're trying to go. If that's you, go ahead and click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me. Okay, on the call, we're going to say, where are you right now? What is actually causing you to not hit your goal? It's oftentimes different than what you're thinking. You might think it's marketing. It might actually be your pricing. You might think that your price is too low. It might be that you're bringing in the wrong leads, so marketing is really your problem. It might be that you don't know how to sell people, so it's taking it 5 to 10 times more consultations to actually go and reach your target income. Okay, we're going to find that out together. Next thing is we're going to look at where do you want to go? So what does the business look like when you're actually successful? Is it just purely a money thing? You don't care how much work it is? Are you a workaholic and you love to work? Do you want more of it to be like passive? Do you want to build a team? Like, what does that look like for you? And then after we have those two things together, we're going to make this third column. And it's going to be, okay, cool. So based on my experience and working with about 100 other students inside the program, hey, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You resonate with these steps? If so, let's work together long-term to accomplish that. I can get you onboarded right then and there, and we can move forward towards your goals together. If that's you, go ahead and click on the link inside of the description below to book a call with me. It'll send you a link to my calendar. I'd love to see you there. Okay? Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. See you later.